I don't get how. No, I don't agree with Cam Newton.
Oh, you're that
This
guy.
has been such a trying year for me. No, Marcellus, it's not COVID. It's not relocating to a new city. It's having to criticize Cam Newton.
Oh.
Like, that's one of the toughest parts of my life this year because I rock with Cam. I rock with Super Cam, everything that Cam stands for. And I rock with my dog. But I got to call a spade, sir. You said it's facts over feelings,
Yeah,
so let me
is.
speak factually. How in the world are y'all better than your 4-5 record when your 3 touchdowns isn't better than your 4-5 record? Cam, if I'm speaking about you personally. Okay, now let's talk from a large-scale perspective. You all are hit or miss. That is what 4-5 is. You win and you lose. You win less often than you lose. Well, let's look at the season. You beat the Dolphins early on somehow, some way, in a close grudge match. Then you get into a shootout and you lose to the Seahawks. Then you beat the Raiders. Then you lose to the Chiefs. I don't know what this Patriots team is, Sal. And then if you're talking about being better than your 4-5 record, if one of your wins is against the Jets, then it's quite literally impossible to be better than your 4-5 record because that was a gimme. That was a simulated game. You know, when you play in Madden back in the day and you don't feel like playing that game, you just hit the simulate button and it just goes on to the next.
Auto.
That's all that was. That was a simulated game. So I would actually submit that they might be worse than their 4-5 record. It's not to say that Patriots are not capable of beating teams because we just saw what they did to the Ravens. They are capable of beating teams in close grudge match, fist fight type of games. But anytime there is minimal to no room for error, and that's what the Patriots had. I said this a couple days ago. I'll say this to y'all tuning in. Patriots are 4-0 when they win the turnover battle, and I know you hate this stat, but they are 0-5 when they tie or lose the turnover battle. What that means is they don't even have any room for error. They got to be perfect. You can't bank on this team being perfect week in, week out. That is why they are 4-5. Their record is actually very accurate for the team that they are.
Wow. I always knew that you were a pessimist. Never knew that you were a fatalistic pessimist, like next level. You and Jeff Saturday, 2 dudes that I love. But 2 dudes that are on the flip side when it comes to looking at a glass and see if it's half empty or if it's half full. And we look at this situation, the glass is half full. And that's why I support Cam Newton and what he's saying. And what he's saying is actually correct. Some teams are worse than their record. And some teams are better than their record. I'll give you some examples. 13-3 Green Bay last year going into the playoffs. We were like, they're a little worse than that record. But we're going to see what happens. And we saw what happened. They won 1 game and then they got smoked. Okay, so we knew that. Now, let's look at a situation where you see go back in history a little bit, 2011, a 9-7 Giants team. Oh, my God. Wonder if they're better than that. They went against a perfect Super Bowl.
But are you? Let me ask you.
Team.
Because it's a good. You want somewhere good here.
I know. You want to interrupt it. Go ahead.
Is this predicated off winning and losing the Super Bowl?
No, this is predicated off of your record because you took it personal. We said team and record. You went, okay, Cam Newton and his performances. Oh, why'd you do that, Acho? Maybe because you couldn't stick to the script and to the question. But I will because I'm disciplined. Damn it. And so I'm looking at this as you're a 4-5 team, and someone like Acho was like, doo-doo, y'all only won a virtual game against the Jets. Oh, when you don't know what something is, Acho, put it under the microscope and let's look at it. Let's look at their losses and their wins right now. Only 1 bad loss. Denver by 6. The rest support what Cam Newton is talking about. They beat 3 6-3 teams. You want to know who they are? The Miami Dolphins. They beat the Raiders, and they beat the Ravens. Oh, excuse me, Dougie Fresh. Only lost to the early season perfect Seattle Seahawks. And then you lose to the 49ers with Jimmy G. And we know that Jimmy G in his 4 years as a 49er has only lost 9 games. So losing to Jimmy G when he's out there with the 49ers, okay, I can understand that. My point is this. You are not always what your record says it is. History has shown that. This year has shown that. Imagine that you're the L.A. Raiders. Vegas Raiders. Damn, I'm on Oakland. Vegas Raiders. Vegas Raiders. Are they better than the Chiefs?
No.
Oh, did they beat the Chiefs? Oh, guess what? It doesn't matter always head-to-head matchup. Records and competition can alter your perception like it did to you, Acho. Now it's time to bring in Fox NFL analyst Greg Jennings. I got him on the ropes. So, Greg, you agree with Cam that the Patriots are better than their 4-5 record?
Absolutely not.
Thank you.
I don't. They are 4-5 for a reason. This team has struggled to score points. Acho hit the nail on the head. When you turn the ball over, and you don't give yourself a chance. And this team, a team that struggles to score, they're tied for, or I shouldn't say tied, they're They're at the bottom tier when it comes to points scored. I think 27th or below in ranking when it comes to points scored. So when you talk about turning the ball over and you can't put up points or you can't produce points, you have the 31st most. The 31st worst team in 3 and out. So that means you don't even really sustain drives. Offensively, they've struggled. And we don't ever do this as players, as coaches, even as media. When we all played, we never got on the plane after a win and said, man, we should have lost that game. We never do that. We never do that.
Ooh.
If we were 7-1, we never go in the locker room and be like, we really should be 3-4, guys. What? But we always do the inverse. We always say, no, we really should be 8-0. We really should be 9-0. We always do that when we lose the close game, but never when we win it do we say we should have actually lost. So this team's record is what it is because they haven't been able to win in the 60 minutes or more that they've been allotted.
Hey, look, my bad if I had to pull the Green Bay team from last year and get under your skin because I know you got Green Bay in your heart and talk about how that 13-3 was empty. My bad. Well, let me go somewhere else. Let me go back to the Giants. Remember the Giants in 2011 that had a negative 6-point differential? Think about that. They were a 9-7 team that had a negative point differential and beat a perfect team. Guess what? They weren't what their record said that they were. So guess what? If you look at this situation, it's the same thing, Greg Jennings. I have been on teams where I've been on the plane like, boy, we shouldn't have won that one. And I've been on games where I'm like, damn, we should have won that one. Who hasn't? That's called competition. I was on an 0-3 team. Turned around, we were 10-6 that same year. I also was on a 4-0 team. We end up being 5-11. Guess what? I've been on both sides of this coast and understanding that it doesn't always add up into the win-loss column because of some breaks, some bad penalties, things that you can't control. You can have a tough record. Oh, God. Houston Texans is a horrible example this year. But let's talk about the Houston Texans. When they first few games, what they have? Kansas City, Baltimore. They like, damn, we're better than that. Yeah, you are, but you're not much better than that. But point being, you don't have to be a literalist. You don't have to say, the New England Patriots are 4-5, so guess what they are? 4-5. You can actually say, damn, those some close losses. Damn, those some good wins. Maybe you are a little better than your record.
Get him, Greg, so I don't have to.
Yeah, you ain't got nothing.
Look, I hear what you're saying, but this is why I disagree with you, Marcellus.
Okay.
Because when you look at the New England Patriots, if they would have won those games, are we having this conversation of them being better or worse? We're not having this conversation. Only when a team doesn't get it done, when they have had the opportunity to get it done. I don't care what your record is. All I care is what you produce and what you show me. And what they have not shown me is the ability to win games. You want to go back to 2011? You want to go back to 2011 and talk about teams that were better than what they record? We were a 10-6 team to play the year we won the Super Bowl. Were we deserving of that? Yes. Did we end up being a better team? Of course, we got hot. But right now, when we look at the New England Patriots, they are a 4-5 team.
Can I give you some of this?
It's not a matter. We're not at the end, so we don't know what they're going to be and what they're capable of. Right now, they are a 4-5 team, period.
Wow. All I want you to understand is this same team, this same organization has been here before. You want to go back to your years? You want to go back even further? Let's go back to 2001. Do you remember that year? You're a historian. Acho's out this conversation. You're a historian. You know the game. They were 5-5. And people like you, if you were a broadcaster then instead of trying to be an active player, would have went on TV and said, you know who they are? They're just a 5-5 bunch and they have no future. They are what this is. And then that same team goes out there and wins. What is that?
They had a quarterback
a Super Bowl championship.
Had a quarterback change.
It's not always.
They inserted the best quarterback ever.
Can we do our job and not just talk X's and O's, but talk the I's and the U's? The I's and the U's is adding on to what everyone else sees because we see it differently because we've been there before. And don't act like you ain't never been there before and say we're a little better than this or we're a little worse than this. Come on, guys.
Let's talk the G's and the E's because it's a Greg and Emmanuel conversation because Marcellus talking crazy. Here's the differentiation that Marcellus is making, Greg, which you and I understand. The rest of the world understands, but Marcellus obviously doesn't. I'm not saying they can't get hot. I'm not the Giants. They got hot, Greg. The year they won the Super Bowl, they got hot. Teams can get hot. The Titans last year, Marcellus, they got hot. But you're not going to sit here and tell me that they are better or worse than what their record is. The Packers are 13-3 last year. They're 1 win away from being in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They're 13-3. Like, that's not to say they were better than their record. 1 win away from the Super Bowl. When I look at this Patriots team, so they got blown out by the Niners, which you tried to paint as a good picture. Jimmy Garoppolo had 2 interceptions that game. Yeah. No passing touchdowns. Yeah. They got blown out.
He's still a winner, though. He on the field.
They got blown out by, not blown out, they got beat by the Broncos, but to get beat by the Broncos is a blowout.
6 points is
to get beat by that team is the
And what else you got? What else you got? It's going to get quiet on this set.
What else do you need? They lost to the Bills again. Because why? Because they turned the ball over.
They lost by 3 to the Bills. Is that a bad loss?
No, it's not. It's not. Well, there are no ugly wins. It ain't no pretty losses.
That's where I think that's where we're all disagreeing. Let's be real about this. Strength of schedule is an indicator of what the road ahead is.
That's
true
fair.
or false?
That's fair.
If there wasn't, if it meant nothing, then they wouldn't talk about strength of schedule all the time. But then when you look at their strength of schedule, you start to realize, man, when you get a win against Miami, when you get a win against the Raiders, when you get a win against the Ravens, you're a good team. And then you only have really one loss where you got to hang your head low and say, damn, why we let Denver come and beat us? I don't hear any other conversation. You could try and exaggerate the 49ers, but Jimmy G just finds a way to win when he's the starting quarterback of the 49ers. So to me, this argument is about y'all don't respect their schedule, because to me, it's kind of a difficult schedule for a first-time quarterback in this new situation.
You're taking years off my life, Greg.
With a new coach and a new organization that was picked up in early July.
Come on, guys.
So Marcellus, they have a top 10. They have the top 10 easiest schedule in the league.
Yeah.
So you want me to feel sorry for them because they're within the top 10 of having the easiest schedule in the league?
Marcellus, I know what you're talking about.
I'm sorry. Yes, you played some teams. You played some teams that have 6-3 records, but that doesn't mean that's not telling. Because you still lost those games.
No. They won those 3 games. See, that's what I'm talking about. We ain't talking the same stuff. We ain't in the same book. They beat 3 teams that have a 6-3 record.
But you know what it is. Sal, if you go back in the history books, because I had to do this, you know me. I'm a youngin', so I got to go back and do my research. I went back and I was like, wait, the great Muhammad Ali, he lost some fights?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, wait, Mike Tyson? He lost some fights?
Oh, we knew
because the people that beat them, they caught them out of their prime. They caught Ali out of his prime. They caught the Tyson out of his prime. So were you telling me that the Patriots beat the Dolphins in week 1 before Tua, when Flores was in his first game as his second year as the organization? You telling me that was a great win? You telling me that when they beat the Raiders, before the Raiders got hot, you're telling me that that's a good win? Like, you can't sit here and classify, now that we're 10 weeks in, look at the entire body of work and say, wait, but they beat the Dolphins back in week 1.
It's on their season.
That Dolphins team is not this Dolphins team. You're qualifying.
No team is the same week to week. That's why there's only one undefeated team. One undefeated team. I want to say this. How many times have we said this in sports, NBA, NFL, that the conference championship is the real championship this year? Even in the Western Conference, we were thinking that until the Clippers messed up. But the point is, there are times where you can even look at how it's built, the pyramid, all the way to the championship. And you can say one rung lower is really that championship. You know why? Because you're talking about the strength of the schedule. You're talking about the strength of the opponent. You're also talking about 2 teams that maybe the records don't match up, but we know this is the most contention we're going to see in that sport. How come you guys can now apply that to Cam Newton and what he's saying? He's just saying we're close, and being close is we're easily a team that could be 5, 6, maybe even 7 wins. You guys don't see none of that, huh?
I do, but every team in the league feels like that right now.
Oh, really? The Jets do as well. Okay, all right, let's go.
I'm done.